Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I make these videos on the assumption that you are a self-aware, intelligent human who can think and reason and make a choice about what you believe to be right and wrong. But the purest form of evolutionary science says that no, you can't actually do any of that. Your ability to think and reason and decide is all just an illusion created by the chemical activity of your brain. Your sense of self-awareness and free will is not real. I hope that sounds ridiculous because it is. The proofs for the existence of God are unavoidable in virtually every area of science. The science of consciousness is an example of this. The human mind, and what I mean by that is being self-aware and having volition, is the most important part of our individual identity, but it's immaterial. The mind is not a physical thing. It doesn't have physical qualities, and it simply does not fit into a purely materialistic view of our existence. If we are purely physical creatures, why do we even have the ability to think? Scientists admit that this is a hard problem. David Chalmers, a philosopher and cognitive scientist, asked this question: why would physical processing give rise to a rich inner life at all? It seems objectively unreasonable that it should, and yet it does. If we imagine the universe forming and existing without any divine intervention, consciousness doesn't make sense. Kitchener and Hales in Frontiers of Human Neuroscience explained the problem like this. Quote, the idea that consciousness arises from processing signals of the now well-defined and well-understood neuronal forms would give rise to the phenomenon of a first-person perspective can be called strong emergence or magical emergence, because there is currently no reason to hold that such a phenomenon would, should, or could follow from the known properties of the system's constituents. Based on what we understand about the signaling processes of the brain, the self-aware mind, that's what is first-person perspective, simply should not exist. As a result, some scientists conclude that consciousness isn't even real. Dr. Jerry Coyne, professor of ecology and evolution, said this, quote, the ineluctable scientific conclusion is that although we feel that we're characters in the play of our lives, rewriting our parts as we go along, in reality, we're puppets performing scripted parts written by the laws of physics. If there is no God, if we're just the spontaneous creation of an unintelligent universe, Dr. Coyne is absolutely, undeniably correct. A world without a creator God is by necessity a purely physical world defined only in terms of physical processes and is devoid of anything not directly attributable to natural explanations. Why are you even watching this video right now? Just because you wanted to? Because you're a human being with a rational mind and free will and you decided of your own volition that you wanted to watch this video? Some scientists say no, you don't have that kind of will. This view results in some very disturbing conclusions. Neuroscientist Sam Harris, an advocate of the materialist view, explains it like this. A person's conscious thoughts, intentions, and efforts at every moment are preceded by causes of which he is unaware. What is more, they are preceded by deep causes, genes, childhood experiences, etc., for which no one, however evil, can be held responsible. Our ignorance of both sets of facts gives rise to moral illusions. He also says, this neuroscientific understanding reveals you to be a biochemical puppet. Are you willing to accept this conclusion? Are we willing as a society to believe that a person has no control over their own actions because they have no control over their own thoughts? Are you willing to believe that your thoughts and feelings in this very moment are not actually real? I'm not willing to believe this because I have the ability to think, and I think this doesn't make sense. There are some scientists who reject the idea that consciousness is an illusion, but they still reject any possibility of divine intervention. Instead, they conclude that natural properties of matter create consciousness in humans, and therefore everything must have some level of consciousness. This is called panpsychism. So we have one camp saying that consciousness is not real, and another camp saying that everything is conscious. When we see science swinging between two opposite and contradictory conclusions, we know that something must be wrong. The problem underlying all of this is trying to define the supernatural conscience by natural natural sciences. A physicist, Dr. Eric Heaton, explains the problem. The evidence does indicate that the mind really exists, and yet the evidence from studying matter, energy, and the laws of nature show that nature couldn't produce even a single protein molecule, let alone a living cell. To suggest that nature could produce a conscious mind departs from everything that is known about nature from the study of physics over the last 200 years. If you believe that you have a mind, you must also believe that you have a God that created it. Your ability to think defies the rules of the universe, and yet you do think. You know that you exist, and you have the ability to choose what you will do with your existence. God gave you a mind so that you would seek Him. Thanks for watching.